everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Voice of Cognizant podcast, Your Voice, Your Way. Now, here's a big shout out to all our women listeners and, well, to everyone out there. Happy Women's Month. I'm your host, Neerja, and today we're going to make our way through the inspiring world of unstoppable women who continue to shatter glass ceilings at home and at work every single day. Now, we're also going to be talking about some of their allies on the show. You know the ones, the real cheerleaders who support their success as they chart newer milestones. Let's start the show with Center Stage, where we shine the spotlight on our leaders. Hey everyone, welcome on this very special edition of Center Stage. Let's give a warm Cognizant welcome to Gaurav Chand, who is Cognizant's Chief Marketing Officer. Now, Gaurav oversees all aspects of global marketing, including brand, creative, digital, events, communications, field, and corporate marketing. He is on a mission to build brand Cognizant as a digital transformation powerhouse around the globe. He's got a long list of things on his agenda to keep Cognizant flying high. So let's find out more. Hi, Gaurav. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Neerja, and very excited to be on this show. So thanks a lot again.
Gaurav, let me start with this. As someone who leads in the space of building a brand's image and giving it an identity, what do you believe Cognizant is most recognized for? And how do you think the brand's personality will continue to shine in the coming years?
So Neerja, look, the starting point of any brand is creating a purpose for the company. And honestly, our purpose is very, very clear. We engineer modern businesses to improve everyday life. We are constantly repositioning the Cognizant brand. We're globalizing Cognizant. That's a critical aspect of what we're doing. We're accelerating digital. Digital is going to be key in our clients' ability to solve the problems and the pain points that their consumers are having. And we're increasing client relevance by getting into those digital areas in a very meaningful way. All of this including a heavy focus on all of our ESG goals, because Neerja, at the end of the day, Cognizant as a company, one of our core values is we absolutely believe that through greater diversity of thought, greater diversity of experiences and individuals, we are going to solve these problems for our clients. At the end of the day, Cognizant brings capabilities that can truly digitally transform our customers, and we have a proud decades-long tradition of commitment to social responsibility, not only through the work of the foundation, but also through the work of our employee-led volunteering efforts in India especially, as well as across the globe. We made incredible progress over the past few years. One of the key aspects of our strategy is building capabilities. So if we've made billions of dollars of investments in acquisitions. If you look at the top industry analyst firms, whether it be Gartner, whether it be IDC, whether it be Everest, several of them have rated us absolutely top, especially in some of those key digital areas like the cloud, like software engineering, IoT, data and AI, and all of these places. So, you take a culmination of all of this together, and we believe that has truly elevated our market position. And today, what's really exciting to me, Neerja, is that Cognizant is truly a talent magnet. We are attracting top talent across the world. It's amazing. When I joined Cognizant like 2.5 years ago, we were at approximately 280,000 employees across the globe. Today, we're at over 330,000 employees across the globe, and that's so exciting. One of the key aspects of the 330,000 people is also we're investing like never before in that employee experience, especially on the front of women. We've given so many opportunities to grow their careers, but also ensure that their efforts are both acknowledged and recognized. Honestly, Neerja, if I was to think of one thing that makes our brand personality shine, a true differentiator, it is definitely our people.
Absolutely. I love that, Gaurav. And honestly, there's a reason why you attract the talent that you do. There's a reason why there's so much passion, in your voice as well. That sentiment at the core of Cognizant, that it's about the people, makes all the difference, especially when it comes to creating a dynamic environment, right, for the people to thrive and flourish in. So that's exciting. Now, your vision for Cognizant, Gaurav, is also to ensure that diverse spaces are created in every possible field, and the brand's association as the title partner of the Ladies Professional Golf Founders Club is a fantastic representation of that. Can you tell us a little more about the conversations leading up to a decision like that? And maybe you could also tell us about the example you believe it sets for others to follow.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Nilja. I mean, investment as the exclusive title sponsor of the Aston Martin Formula One racing team was an absolute no-brainer. And then we looked at several other sponsorships, and golf was another sport where, we knew our clients absolutely love playing golf. Golf is a truly, truly global sport, whether it be men's golf and women's golf. And that's where, Nilja, honestly, one of the things that was key to us that is that we wanted to invest in both world-class male and female athletes, right?
Yep.
This diversity challenge that we talk about, this diversity challenge that is absolutely one of the strategic priorities for Cognizant, just does not exist in the corporate environment. It exists all across the globe, which is the reason why the Founders Cup was so appealing to us. At the end of the day, there was an incredible story about the Founders Cup. It's the story of 13 women that, against all odds, established the world of professional golf for women. And it's a truly inspiring story. It is exactly along the lines of what we aspire to do as a company in our own right. And again, the piece that I mentioned around investing in both world-class male and female athletes, you put all of that together, we are incredibly proud of having been given that opportunity to champion that cause.
Right. What a great way to break the bias, right? Which is essentially what we're trying to do here, and do it in a way that isn't just about, creating awareness, but truly giving actual opportunity. So brilliant job there.
And Nilja, it's your point about giving true opportunity. We doubled the prize money at the Founders Cup because, again, it's our true belief that a professional athlete, irrespective of whether that athlete is male or female, should be given an equal opportunity for creating wealth, which is, again, another huge effort in our, like you said, in our efforts to breaking that bias.
That's amazing. And on that note, let's turn up the volume on women's empowerment. Gaurav, we know you are the executive sponsor of WE. Tell us about the WE program and your drive and passion behind its growth.
Nilja, to be absolutely honest, I have a vested interest in that. One of the biggest reasons why I really wanted to take a strong stance is because I have one child and I want her to grow up in a world that was honestly different to the world that most of us grew up in. I want it to be a more accepting world. I want it to be a more tolerant world. And I want her to have all the possible opportunities that anybody would have, which are much more gated on your skill set and your abilities rather than your gender or your ethnicity or anything like that. So that was one of the biggest reasons I'm very, very passionate. I'm extremely proud to be the executive sponsor of the Women's Empowered Affinity Group. And that is my way of promising to be an inclusive leader and to continue to improve levels of diversity at Cognizant. So about the Women's Empowered program, it reflects one of our core values, which is creating conditions for everyone to thrive. That is one of Cognizant's core values. And it fundamentally means that women's empowerment is absolutely committed to making Cognizant a place where women can thrive, a place where women can belong, hope to work, achieve their ambitions, achieve their dreams, and make sure they're making the progress they want to make in their careers. I'll give you one example, Nilja. The Cognizant Returnship program It was a program designed to help tech professionals restart their careers after taking a break. 95% of the graduates of that program are women. And we had a very specific goal in mind. We pledged to mentor 1,000 women by the end of 2021 last year, and we blew past that goal. And that is something that we are incredibly proud about. Our foundation in India and the US, we're investing like never before in programs that truly promote gender equality, inclusion, and also allow women an equal right to participate in the technology world, because that's another area where we saw clearly women participation was lacking in a big way. You look at all of these efforts, Nuja, the one thing that I'm really proud of, it clearly shows that, diversity, equality, inclusion, they are absolutely central to Cognizant's belief. It's a belief that starts at our board, at our CEO, at the executive committee level, and all the way down. So, Nuja, that's something that we are holding ourselves very much responsible for.
Well, Gaurav, I can hear how important it is to you. And having a teenage daughter as well, Gaurav, I'm sure that gives you a uniquely different perspective on the whole thing, raising a teenage daughter in these times, which is something I'd love to pick your brain about a little later on the show. But right now, there is something to be said about the encouragement and support seen through the male allyship program, which once again, like you very rightly said, proves that the need for diversity is not taken lightly at Cognizant, right? So tell us a little bit about this program, Gaurav.
Yeah, I think the starting point for the male allyship program, at least from my perspective, is we don't have to think about this as a ethical or a moral priority. We've got to think about this, and that's my one ask for everyone, especially the males. Don't think about this as an ethical or a moral priority. Think about this as a true business priority. I do believe as men, we need to better understand the challenges that women face so that we can help address those biases against women in the workplace. Allyship is important in making sure that everyone is not only invited to the table, but more importantly, heard, acknowledged, and recognized for all of their contributions. So from my standpoint, being a male ally means a lot to me. It means I'm invested in advancing women in the workplace. It means I believe in opening doors to every opportunity, being a better listener, understanding what they're going through, and helping create pathways for them that allows them more access and greater exposure, which at the end of the day truly empowers them. And like I said earlier, if we can find a way to empower, whether it be gender diversity, ethnicity, and all of those kind of pieces, I believe we make a better work environment, which ultimately leads to better problem solving for our clients.
Gaurav, on that note, may I ask you a question about the more important conversations you have with your teenage daughter as we make our way through the times we live in? What stands out for you?
Nuja, I'll say it's not just the conversations, it's also the actions, right? So you made this point about break the bias. There is a bias that, women are the ones that cook and all of that. Well, let me tell you, one of the actions that I have embodied and embraced for a long time now is cooking. I'm the cook of the family. And I love cooking.
That's wonderful.
Through my actions of, cooking every day for my daughter, for my wife, for myself, that is an example that I set for my daughter that, hey, the bias that women are the ones that work in the kitchen is absolutely wrong. I'm the one who cooks. It's all about empowerment. Anything is doable irrespective of your gender. And constantly reminding her of that, showing her examples of, how people, like one of the things that, I'm personally very passionate about is astrophysics. It's not something that I studied in school or college or any place, but it's something that I've developed a huge amount of interest at. And watching videos with my daughters about leading theoretical physicists, especially women, talk about their passion for astrophysics and stuff like that, that also breaks her bias and makes her mind open to the kind of advancements women have made and access that women had if they truly had the mindset to go achieve something. So it's all about having those right conversations, but also being a role model and making sure I exhibit this in the actions that I have, Nirja.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm sure you're setting the best possible example, Gaurav. And, it's nice.
We're trying to.
I have no doubt about it. And you did mention cooking. Now, Gaurav, we do enjoy putting our leaders in the hot seat. So would you share something with us that we wouldn't expect to hear from you? Or is cooking the thing that you're going to be telling us about today?
Yeah, it's absolutely cooking. Nirja, I remember about 23, 24 years ago when I came to the US, I did not know how to cook, in all honesty. What started as a necessity ultimately became a passion. And today I absolutely love cooking. Indian food is my favorite cuisine.
Okay. What would you say is your signature dish?
There have been a bunch over the years. I would say right now, my signature dish is an Awadhi chicken biryani.
Ooh, that sounds good. We want the whole recipe the next time you're on the show, so we can have a little mystery, leave the listeners wanting more. Gaurav, I have to say, and I hope I can speak for everyone listening in, you've added a real sense of character and allyship to the show that I bet can't be matched by anyone else. So thank you for your time today, and I hope we can bring you back on sometime soon.
I would be absolutely delighted to, Nirja. Thank you so much for giving us the time and this opportunity.
This is What's Up Cognizant, and I've got some updates for you. Let's find out what they are. This year's IWD theme is #BreakTheBias, and the focus of our messaging is progress. Now, we are making progress on improving gender diversity and equality. It's very important that we continue the thread of progress as we want to remain authentic, right? Both inside and outside the organization. Now, here's something exciting. Coming up for you this month is an evening of fun and humor with Sumukhi Suresh, actor and stand-up comedian. You can watch out for the event details in your mailboxes soon. Also, don't miss the upcoming Women Empowered, that's WE Book Club session on the courage to advance. Visit b.cognizant's DNI page for more details on this and more events planned through March to celebrate women. And hey, also, we are proud to share that Microsoft has named Cognizant a winner of its 2021 APAC Partner of the Year Award in the Social Impact Inclusion Changemaker category for commitment to disability inclusion and accessible technologies. Here we are on another wonderful edition of Cognizant's Got Talent. Today we meet Kavita Ashok, a lead agilist at work and a Propel alumni as well, and of course shatterer of glass ceilings outside of work too. Now she's a passionate motorcyclist touring through incredible India on her trusted two-wheeler, the Royal Enfield Himalayan, covering more than 50,000 kilometers so far. I mean, wow. Let's go ahead and bring her on the show. Kavita, hi.
Hi Nirja, thank you so much for the lovely introduction.
Of course. Now, you've done some impressive things on the motorcycle. What drew you to an activity that's been dominated by male energy for so long? And how do you feel about biking on the road less traveled by women?
Good question. So, my biking journey began actually on Women's Day back in 2018.
Oh.
And I responded to a Facebook ad about a 2-day motorcycling workshop exclusively for women in Bangalore. And as someone who loves adventure, this sounded like an exciting challenge for me. And that one decision, I must say, has changed my life for the better. It's been truly a liberating and empowering experience.
Kavita, tell me about some of the places you've been to.
So, like you said, I own a Royal Enfield Himalayan, and I call him Drogo. And he loves dirt. He loves dirt and off-road. So you know what Drogo, if it's Drogo, that makes me Khaleesi, right?
I love that.
Yeah, so he loves dirt and off-roads, and together we've explored places like Leh Ladakh, Spiti Valley, Sakleshpur, a lot of off-roading. And we've also covered south and west coasts of India. I dream of doing K2K, which is Kashmir to Kanyakumari.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And what would you say, Kavita, to those who are trying to begin their journey of self-empowerment, much like you have, Any words of encouragement for them?
I would say just go for it. If there is this spark within you to go try it, definitely go for it. Follow your heart and face your fears. And I would say a good start would be to take a basic riding course with experienced trainers in a controlled environment to just get over those initial jitters and self-doubt. And do what I did. I rented, begged, borrowed a bike, kept on practicing, invested in good riding gears, and I took my time with it. Actually, no pressure. So if you do that, I think there'll be many happy miles awaiting you on the other side of your fear.
Kavita, you talk about facing your fears while pursuing your passion. How do you feel like the things you learn from motorcycling spill over into other aspects in your life?
I think the first few thoughts that come into my mind is, my professional life has an impact on my riding. My riding hobby has an impact on my professional life. So it's like feeding each other, right? For me, what I've learned from my biking experience is your bike goes where your focus or eyes go. So that is also a good analogy for life, right? So wherever you feed in your energy and thoughts, that's where the vibration is and that's where your life will move. So it's very important to be aware of your thoughts because thoughts turn into actions. And another thing is there have been times, and owning a Himalayan kind of nudges you to take those risks and calculated risks because it's an off-roading bike. Sometimes you have to climb a hill, you might take a fall, and the key is to not panic. So take chances and then, be prepared to take a fall. So preparation is a key here with all the riding gears and, knowing how to lift the bike, knowing when to give up and ask for help. So all of that is what biking teaches you, and resilience. You fall down, you get up and you continue. And I think with every fall, I've only learned, to be a better biker and be more responsible biker, and I pass on those lessons to the women that I train, friends who come to me from doctors to housewives. So I teach them that because I see myself in them on, I went through that path. So it helps me negotiate them through the path to overcome those fears.
Kavita, may you continue breathing fire around the world on your motorcycle that you call Drogo. Yeah, K for Kavita and K for Khaleesi. Thank you so much for bringing, such empowerment to the show today on this special Women's Day edition. It's been a pleasure having you on.
Thank you so much for having me, Neeja.
Let's move on to some tech talk, shall we? Now, on today's edition of Tech Talk, we're excited to talk to you about Cognizant's first ever Salesforce Techathon. Driven by women leaders, the Techathon has over 60 ideas submitted already, out of which 12 will be shortlisted to be built into prototypes. How cool is that? Now, the shortlisted ideas will also get their Learning Goals completion credits in Skill Up and win free Salesforce certification vouchers from the Salesforce Academy. Women making strides in tech and getting rewarded for it. What a treat. The top 5 teams stand a chance to win exciting Salesforce swag as well. Find out more details about this event on b.cognizant. Search for Salesforce Techathon. We've got some exciting achievers on the Cognizant Edge. Let's go.
Welcome
Welcome to the Cognizant Edge, a place for our indomitable achievers to really shine and share their uniquely interesting experiences. Now, our first guest is from Cognizant's first flagship program for women leadership development. We're talking about Propel, of course. And to tell us more about this flagship program that encourages women to take charge and lead the pack, I've got Lucky Sharma, Director, Business Development, AI and Analytics at Cognizant, to tell us more about her leap into leadership. Hi, Lucky. Welcome to the show.
Hey, hi, Neerja. Thank you so much. A pleasure to be here with you on the show.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on. And, they say luck be a lady, and I say lucky be a powerhouse of a lady. Lucky, could you tell us about your experience with the Propel program and how it helped channel your energies into becoming more confident and successful?
Sure, Neerja. So I started my journey with Cognizant 6 years ago as a senior manager, business development, part of AI and analytics practice. At that point in time, when I was giving my interview, while I had a lot of experience at a managerial level, but that was the first time I was actually stepping into data and analytics role.
Yeah.
But my interviewer at Cognizant at that point said not to worry, and he assured me that he'll train me and he wanted me to grow and bring my perspective to the role, right? I remember feeling really positive at that point that the organization has taken a chance on me, and I took advantage on that, right? And I took it as a challenge. So today, as we speak, I am at a director level, part of the same practice and the same team, and I have close to 100 associates who are rolling up to me.
Amazing.
Right? I had a great experience, a very fast journey over last 6 years, and I really feel lucky to have such an all-rounded experience, right? And also feel grateful to the AI and analytics leadership for creating conditions for associates to thrive and grow. Coming to Propel, Propel was one such opportunity for me, and I'll say it's an opportunity of lifetime. So my boss, who happens to be a Propel alumni, nominated me for this program in 2019. And I must say I was lucky to attend this wonderful program in person, because it was the last batch which happened in person post that pandemic kicked in. Right? And honestly, I'll say it made a lot of difference to me, both professionally as well as personally. This program really helped me see which path to take to success, right?
Yeah.
The way it was designed was wonderful. So while we had trainers who went over the theory and the modules part, on the other hand, we had real leaders from the organization, our women leaders, who actually came and shared their journey with us as part of the curriculum, right? They shared their personal challenges, what they have gone through, and how, most importantly, how they overcame those challenges, right? And being a part of this empowered community of women gave me a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
The confidence to come out of my comfort zone and to take a challenge. And most importantly, I must say, confidence in myself, knowing that no matter what the situation, I have the ability to spiral upwards and not downwards.
Fantastic. Well, Lucky, that's what a program like Propel is really all about. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us and also being such a great example of someone who rose up the ranks and is breaking the bias even today. It was lovely having you on this Women's Day special. All the best.
Thank you so much, Neerja. It was wonderful being part of this program.
Joining me right now on the Cognizant Edge is someone who's all set to tell us about a fresh path to the corporate world. Now, this is one provided by the Cognizant Returnship program. The decision to re-enter the workforce, after an extended break, especially, can be both exciting and daunting. And on International Women's Day last year, we launched the Cognizant Returnship program, which is essentially a 12-week paid experience for talented technology professionals looking to restart their careers after a break. Now, to give us an insight into this wonderful initiative, please welcome Chitra A, Manager, RCGTH, Business Development, Delivery Assessment Team. Hi, Chitra. Welcome to the Cognizant Edge on the Voice of Cognizant.
Hey, Neerja. Thank you for having me here. I'm so delighted to be on this forum and to be sharing my experience.
Chitra, could you take us through your decision to re-enter the workforce, and how did did the Returnship program sort of help you overcome any challenges you thought you might face?
Well, taking a break from the career can be a very daunting decision, especially because I was at the peak of my career when I took this decision. But I had to do that because it was a much needed break, and I had to experience motherhood, attend to my priorities and responsibilities. So I did take the plunge. It was a conscious decision though, and I always knew that I must return. Now, unfortunately, the break got prolonged beyond my expectation, and I somewhere picked up the notion that I have become outdated and irrelevant, especially because of the paradigm shift in technologies, you see.
Right.
And with no positive response coming from employers, my fear just got intensified. And which is when actually a friend of mine introduced me to this Returnship program. So that turned out a gateway and launching pad to take off my career and be back into the workforce. So right from the word go, the whole program was meticulously planned to handhold us. There were dedicated workshops and coaching session, especially with Carol Fishman, who's the founder of these Returnship programs, the kind of mentoring given, and the whole atmosphere which was provided to make us feel at home. I think it won't be an exaggeration if I say we literally were pampered to to the extent that we felt so comfortable and convenient to be joining back workforce with no fears at all. So one more thing to be commendable about is like how I was brought up to speed, and the organized trainings and the right resources that were provided to us to get us there. So when I look back now, Neerja, I don't recall that I have been ever out of work, you see. So in nutshell, I think I was able to re-establish myself and join back workforce in the most dignified way.
Wonderful, Chitra. It was so great to hear from you. This is exactly the kind of program somebody needs to dive right back into their careers. And you're just the kind of person we needed to speak with, for that extra dose of encouragement and empowerment, given that we're celebrating Women's Day. So thank you so much for joining me on the Cognizant Edge.
Thank you very much, Neerja. It was a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you.
And that's a wrap. What an absolutely riveting episode this has been, and the fact that it celebrated the power of women in the workforce made it that much better. Now, before I let you go, here's a fun fact for you that's really the icing on the cake as we celebrate Women's Month, right? Did you know that 50% of Gen Z hires in 2021 were women, and 95% of Cognizant Returnship program graduates are also women? Now that's what I call progress. Guys, diversity and inclusion is all about creating a sense of belonging for everyone. It's about celebrating different perspectives and authentic dialogues. It's also about going that extra mile, breaking glass ceilings and moving forward together. Now let's all break the bias in our own individual ways. Together we are stronger. And on that note, it's time for me to say goodbye. Only for now, of course. I'll be back with another episode before you know it. Until then, it's me, Neerja, saying toodles.